Musicians always ask me, how essential are lyric videos? And the short answer is, it really kind of depends. No, not every song needs a lyric video, but what lyric videos are really good at, as their name would suggest, is helping your audience hone in on the lyrical composition of the song. I found, especially if you're planning on sending your song to radio for airplay consideration, then lyric videos are really impactful to help the station programmers to be able to latch on to the message of that song. Lyric videos can also be a much more cost-effective way to put out a premium piece of content than doing a full-blown music video. Now, creating a compelling lyric video, that's where it gets tricky. You want the video to keep moving, pacing forward, but you also don't want it to be so fast-paced or flashy that people get distracted away from the lyrics or it feels like it's starting to become gimmicky. Recently, we had the opportunity at Wander Creative to come alongside the artist RICHLIN to create a lyric video for their song Hidden. You see, RICHLIN's label, Goatee Records, they had some old iPhone footage of RICHLIN's guitarist playing the song out on an acoustic guitar on some abandoned railroad tracks out in the middle of nowhere. He's just playing it over and over and over again. And so they sent us this iPhone footage. They wanted us to beat it up, add some intrigue to it and put the lyrics over the top. I thought it would be fun if I pulled up the working file and walked you through and kind of showed you the process that I took on taking this from concept to reality. So let's dive in. All right, so what I did, starting point was just getting the timeline lined up. So Goatee Records, they sent me about 7 or 8 different takes of the guitarist on these old railroad tracks that they shot all on an iPhone. It was just the guitarist and I'm assuming a friend. I actually don't know who was with him to record it, but shot on an iPhone, 6 or 7 or 8 different takes, and they sent it to me. So really started out just laying out the timeline, using those 6 or 7 different takes to make basically a cut on every downbeat and just transition between them. A lot of the different cuts were fairly similar. So what I really liked was that the different cuts on each downbeat, they still felt similar, but just a little bit different energy and kind of a little bit different intrigue. You can see then I added a couple of transitions and dissolves. One of the reasons that I use Final Cut Pro, I know a lot of people are big Premiere fans or DaVinci Resolve fans. So one of the reasons I do use Final Cut, especially for lyric videos, is because there's a great suite of plugins that I found that have really cool effects and dissolves and transitions, things like that. So this glitch pack that I found, I didn't use it on every cut, but you can see I used it on quite a few just to give it a little bit of intrigue, give it a little bit of energy. From there, I experimented with a couple of different textures and glitch packs and stuff like that. It didn't really feel right, so I just left that as is. I made that its own composition, and then I just wanted all that black and white, so I threw, you can see over here, a slight edge glow, just to give it a little bit of something, and then just kind of colored it a little bit and primarily just desaturated it completely, all black and white. One of the things I did also do was I threw a camera shake on it just to give that footage a little bit more movement, to really make that intriguing. And then I just started texturing. Lyric videos, to me, one of the biggest things that makes a lyric video really compelling and sets it apart from a high quality lyric video to a sub-quality lyric video is just a whole bunch of texture. So I started with this nice little lens flare here. Then I went ahead and made it anamorphic. I wanted it to still feel somewhat cinematic, even though it was shot on an iPhone, even though it is a lyric video. I just thought that would be really cool. So stretched it out, kind of made it anamorphic feeling. And then on top of that, I added some dust and elements. You can't really see super well with it just on still frame, but if we play it a little bit, you'll see all that dust and grit and dirt there. So that was kind of fun. And then what did I do after that? I added some grain. Every good lyric video, especially kind of grunge rock lyric video, needs some good grain. I added some light diffusion as well, just to give it almost a hyper real or surreal feel. And then to even expound upon that, I added a prism effect. So this almost duplicated and doubled some of what was happening with the footage, and just gave it a really cool, rich effect that I almost wanted it to feel like a dreamlike state. So that's really what we went after on that one. And then I added a vintage layer, just a really vintage kind of LUT type layer that really just gave it a little bit more grit, made it a little bit more distorted feeling. And after that, I have this really cool pack from Esco that is just a lens flare. So through some flares, just to give it a little bit more intrigue. Again, I can't stress enough, it's all about texture. And again, all of this texturizing was done before I even laid the lyrics on top. I also did a little bit more grain because with this video, I felt like you could not have enough grain almost. And so then you can see, because I did the anamorphic thing a little bit earlier, we started to get some of the texture bleed over here. So I did also just add a letterbox to make it nice and black and thick. One of the things I really thought would be cool was if throughout the entire song we almost used text to give it a border. So I did this little border text where this is the one of the fonts from the album artwork, their secondary font. So use the secondary font to do the artist name and the song name. And then down here, it's kind of small to tell right here. And I actually intentionally wanted that to be small because it was just supposed to add some, just an element of intrigue rather than to be a focus point. But this is all the bylines. So written by, produced by, mixed by, video by, different things like that. So I thought that would be kind of a cool way to give it a little bit of a border without having a border. Thought that was really cool. He also has this really cool logo. So I wanted to throw the logo in there at the very bottom as well. And then literally the last piece I did was adding in the lyrics. So with the lyrics, if we come down here, you can see I just lined up the lyrics, and then each of these were kind of a pre-composited transition and effect. So wanted it to be fairly sequential, fairly simple. Again, because yes, you need movement, but you don't want it to be too much movement. You don't want it to become distracting or gimmicky. One of the things that I really like doing is I like branding videos and branding content. So what we did, or what I did here, was this font is the actual main font from the album artwork or the single artwork. And so I wanted to use consistent fonts to give it kind of that branded style. So this is branded to the artwork, as well as this is a secondary font from the artwork as well. And so that's kind of the gist of it.
Have you heard the noise? Come hold out 40. It's breaking through with a melody. Cause once you know the truth, you gotta share the news. I am hidden in the one who's overcome. I am hidden in the center of his love. Feeling down has to bother me, now that I am hidden in perfect peace.
You know, obviously there were many hours of tinkering, fine-tuning, experimenting that went into it that I didn't show here, but that's basically, the process. So I hope you'll check it out. Again, it's the lyric video for RICHLIN's song Hidden. Go check it out on YouTube, and yeah, hope you like it.